Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is our regular City Council meeting for Monday, January the 12th, 2026. Start with a roll call, please.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Broussard,
Present.
Maynor,
Present.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby. Present.
Okay, next I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to public comment. As I mentioned, is there anybody that has public comment other than for the streets issue, which is item number 13? Okay. Skip then to the consent agenda, which is item number 5. I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda as follows. The minutes of the December 8, 2025 regular meeting, the minutes of the January 5th, 2026 work session special meeting, the 319 Social Club LLC Class C retail alcohol license renewal with a tentative effective date of January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026, the 319 Social House LLC Class C retail alcohol ownership amendment, the Gedney Bakery and Coffee House Class C retail alcohol ownership amendment, the Mini Mart Class E retail alcohol license renewal with a tentative effective date of January 31, 2026 through January 30, 2027, and the Walmart Class E retail alcohol ownership amendment. So first, do I have the motion to accept those?
So moved.
Then it would be all in favor.
Aye.
I'm sorry, did you get it for me?
Well, I had a motion, but who made the second?
Matt
Thank you.
and Brian.
Okay, so that passes 7-0. Next, we move to financials. I need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to bank reconciliation. This is for information only. Does anybody have any questions or comments with regard to the bank reconciliation?
I had one question. On page 107, for the school costing, it shows that we've got a budget of $52,000. Do we still have that in there?
So that's for the SRO,
Okay.
but
I know we
don't.
talked about leaving it in there for that, so I was just wondering. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Susie. Next, we move to item number 8, which is revenues and expenses to date. Again, this is information only. Anybody have any questions with regard to those?
I had one thing about that too. We had like $10,049 for the K-9. Isn't there more in there for a total than that?
What page are you looking at, Deb?
Not sure what page that was on. It was $10,049. Maybe you can check it and let me know too.
She's trying to look for it now, Deb. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that, Deb.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then next is item number 9, which is transfers. Again, this is information only. Anybody have any questions with regard to that? Okay, hearing none, we move to hearings and ordinances. Item number 10. This is a public hearing for the fiscal year 2026 budget amendment number 1. Pursuant to the agenda, I'll now convene a public hearing for the fiscal year 2026 budget amendment number 1. We don't have anything that anybody's...
I did not receive anything regarding the budget amendment.
Okay.
Brad, did you skip over the transfers?
No, I
No,
did the
the-
transfers.
the address.
Okay.
I'll now close the public hearing, and the city clerk will note that there were no comments for the record. Next, we move to item number 11, which is the second reading of the ordinance amendment to Chapter 76, bicycle regulations, and 77, skateboards, roller skates, and inline skates. I need a motion to approve a second, well, let me do this first. Okay, I need a motion to approve the second reading of an ordinance. Well, let's do a discussion first, if that's okay with everybody, before we have the actual motion itself. Okay?
You're supposed to have the motion first and then discussion,
Technically, we
correct?
should have a
I'll do,
motion and second.
okay. Can I get a motion then to approve the second reading?
Laughlin with the motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Okay, so I wanted to be sure that there's been a lot of conversation on some Facebook sites, et cetera, about this, and I just want to clarify some of the issues regarding it. The first is that this is not something new. This ordinance has been in effect for over 30 years. As to bicycles not being ridden on the sidewalks in downtown, skateboards not ridden on the sidewalks in downtown, and other issues similar to that. All this does is it adds to those existing sections the
Micro-mobility device.
thank you, micro-mobility device. And everything else is pretty much the same. There's a couple of other additions that were only because it's 30 years ago that it was originally enacted, that there's been some language updates from then. But that's pretty much what we're talking about. So further discussion then with regard to the second reading.
I'd like to make note too that that there are individuals who use who are disabled and have disabled devices. They're still able to utilize those on those streets. There isn't a portion in there that allows them to do that as well.
That is correct.
What was the limit set to for the electric scooters and electric bikes? Because the last I heard was a debate on what you guys wanted to set at. And,
You mean a speed limit?
yeah, what's the limit, I guess?
Yeah, we did not place one. We just said what's reasonable and appropriate under the circumstances. It's almost like, when you're driving.
Just do the right thing, in other words. Okay, use common sense.
Use common sense, right?
Okay, and if they feel it's inappropriate, then there's an ordinance to protect it.
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes, I've, two things. One, I wanted a clarification on the area. Is it third, fourth, fifth? Would it be from 6th Avenue, which would be the east side of Dunlap's, across the bridge? Is that correct? Those are the blocks that we're talking about? Yes, that's the case.
I think so. I'm just asking.
I just want to clarify. I'm glad you came up, Chief Law. I had another question.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, so that area would be from the 6th Avenue Northeast section there by Dunlap's all the way across the bridge to where the Hardig Drug Corner is there.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
The only other thing that I want to bring up is I did have a phone call here just a little bit ago in discussion of bike confiscation. Should there be, I guess I'll address this to you, Chief, as far as processes and procedures. They had said that they would like to see some sort of a 3 strikes, 2 strikes and a confiscation on the 3rd, something like that. Can you give us an idea? So I'm throwing that out there for consideration, as well as, can you kind of talk to us about how you would direct police staff in those situations?
So the way that we would proceed with it, like we do a lot of other things too, it's not going to be necessarily a 3rd strike type system, but our overall goal with anything is education. So if you've got a young new bicycle operator and they're driving their bike in the downtown area and they weren't aware of it, our officers aren't going to just immediately go take this bicycle or issue a municipal infraction. Our goal is to educate that bike rider. So the first or even the second interaction will be, hey, you can't do this and this is why, and coach them to act properly. And then the next time that officer might see them, now it's gauged on that interaction with that person. Why are we doing this when we've already had this conversation? At that point in time, then maybe the bicycle would be taken, depending on how that interaction went. But if there was some other reason or confusion, the officer might say, okay, I'll give you another warning this time, but the next time you're going to lose your bicycle, or we're going to have to, take it to the next level. But our officers are not going to be out there simply to try to take people's bicycles. I mean, that's not, number one, it's going to be more cumbersome to the officer because now they have to load a bicycle, they got to do a property receipt, they got to have this other form that's filled out as far as the bike being taken. And then now we have to have that bike, given back to them a week later or 5 days later, whatever the case might be. So we're going to do everything we can to try to educate those people and try to curb the problem before it turns into those other issues.
Okay.
Chief, go ahead.
I would just say thank you for that explanation, Chief. And then also, I think, because we're not just talking about juveniles here, there'll be adults that will have to be educated as well, handled the same way, I'm sure. And then the other thing I just want to say is, as a council and looking at this ordinance this way with the possible confiscation of a bicycle, it's not directed at the child, meaning we're trying to reprimand them for doing that, but making the parent then aware, since they have to come and get the bike. That way the parent then can work at the home with the child, because obviously we're not expecting children to know what that ordinance is, but we are expecting the parents to educate the children that they can't ride in that area. So I just want to throw that out there. That's why we would do the bicycle confiscation, should it need to be done.
Yeah, and like Mayor said, this is something that's been for over 30 years, and back in the late 90s, I mean, the biggest problem we had back then was the skateboards. And you'd roll up and you take somebody's skateboard, give them a property receipt, tell them to come pick it up. But that was when you've already had a conversation with that individual for riding their skateboard in the downtown area 2 or 3 times, and they just weren't getting the hint.
Okay.
So I get the premise of a 3-type warning type deal before you get to that point. But essentially, we're already doing it, and then to add something would just complicate it more for enforcement, and then the enforceability would be more complicated, I think.
Okay, thank you,
I just
Chief.
wanted to confirm that the confiscation of bicycles and skateboards back 30 years ago was in the statute back to that particular time. So that's not even a new thing that we're adding
No.
in terms of the confiscation part.
No, we just wanted to add, or the city attorney's office wanted to add a little bit additional language in there just to help better cover the city in reference to that, instead of just taking it. We wanted to make sure it was voluntary, to know that, this is a voluntary, that you're giving this up in lieu of this citation, to give that option out there for the individual.
In terms of the citation or the fine or whatever we want to call it, is the first priority the issuance of the fine letter, the fine, as opposed to the confiscation?
I would say that our first priority is education, and to get the person to stop doing the act of driving their bicycle or rollerblades or whatever it is in the downtown area. Our first action would be, if we can solve that by confiscating a bicycle for the 5 days, and now we no longer have an issue, we would rather do that than issue a municipal infraction all day long.
Other questions?
Yes. Speaking with different people on this, and then I pulled up the paperwork on the way it's written, and under 7614 on the special penalty part, dealing with the confiscating, I have a real hard time with that, because the way it's written on here, the way it's written in the paperwork, you can confiscate it on the very first time. I know you've just got done explaining all that. But the problem is that also, and I'll use a child on an example in this particular situation, if a child, and you ask, if they want to voluntarily give up their bicycle and confiscate it, they can either say yes or no. If they say no, then it proceeds that you can't take it at that time, then you have to contact the parents. And then when you have that conversation with the parents, then comes the thing, does the parent want to voluntarily, let the bike be confiscated or not? If they say no, now you've got another whole situation, and according to this paperwork, then if there's not a voluntary confiscation, you have the opportunity to cite them on the ordinance, and then they pay the fine and penalty, correct? Is the way it's written as of right
Correct.
now.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if they did not relinquish the bicycle, let's just say bicycles, but we're talking about lots of different things. And now the parent says, okay, yep, nope, you're not taking my son's bicycle. Now on the next offense, that municipal infraction, we would issue then to the parent for allowing that activity to continue.
Or you could issue them on the very first situation, you could issue them the offense.
You very well.
If you wanted to. It depends on the mood of the officer and what type of conflict there could arise from it. But where I take this a step further is you have both parents are working, are not available. Maybe one works in town, maybe one out of town. So you're having the confrontation with the child, and he says, no, you're not taking my bike. Well, then are you going to take him and the bike and try to find out where the parent works and then go into the workplace, or are you going to wait until they get home? I can just see a lot of major complications appearing on this. I myself, I would rather do away with the confiscating it.
And what's your suggestion on the penalty, Ralph? They get a
We-
citation immediately?
Well, that's up to the discretion of the officer if it's a citation immediately or not.
Ralph?
See, Ralph, the problem, the reason that the purpose behind all this, going back 30 years ago, was the kid has the bike or the skateboard or whatever the case may be, and he, is in violation of it. And we can't really, issue a fine to a 12-year-old.
Correct.
So the idea was we're trying to get the information to the parent. So by confiscating the skateboard or the bike, then the parent has to come in to the police station in order to get the bike and to get the skateboard, in which case they can be further educated on it and they can further educate their children. Because if the kid just comes home with the skateboard and bike as if nothing's happened, the parent's not even going to know. The parent knows as soon as they have to come down to help to pick up the bike or the skateboard or the whatever because it's been confiscated. That's the rationale going back 30 years in terms of why they were doing this.
And I can understand it on that viewpoint, but if we're going to go through those different processes of the child not letting it being taken, and the officer has to go to the residence or wherever to contact the parent, why can't that be done to begin with, that officer, puts the bike in the car or whatever, and the child and goes to the home and speaks to the parents then? Because I just see a lot of potential problems.
Going back to what you said, Ralph, if the parents are at
If
work,
they're out
you're
of
not
town,
gonna
then
be
you
able to do
can't.
that.
So the officer would have to go at a later time and talk to the parents about it and say, this was our situation and stuff, and approach it on that way, because it's dealing with education. I just have a hard time confiscating.
But see, Ralph, if the parents aren't home and they confiscate the bike, when the parents come home, the parents will come to the police department in order to talk to them about it.
Why don't we ask him?
I understand that.
How does this happen? And
So-
what if you're
So what I will say is that if you take away the confiscation of the bicycle, and in all the years that I've been here, everybody would rather lose their bicycle for 5 days than be cited for a municipal infraction. So if we take away the confiscation part of it, our enforceability to that ordinance is out the window unless we deal with somebody who is 18 years and old or older. If we deal with a juvenile, our enforceability of a municipal infraction is not there. So now we don't have something to curb that action of our youth to try to prevent them from doing it.
And I think he's saying, is it really troublesome? How do you deal with the problem of the parent getting a little?
And it's no different than our officers working any other case or any other criminal case that they do, or even an accident that they handle. We don't always solve it right then and there. We have follow-up to do. We may have to go back to the house later. We may have to make a phone call. So if we can't reach out, we can't make contact with parents because they're both at work, it doesn't change anything. It just means that it might take a day or two before we can follow up on that case per se of that incident with the bike and get that clarified. It's not going to add undue, to the officers. I mean, they're used to doing that on any other case or accident or anything else that they deal with.
But then when it comes to a fine, if you go to that point of a fine, that's a graduated fine also. It's X amount of dollars for the first offense, X amount of dollars on the second offense, if I remember it correctly.
It should just be whatever the municipal infraction and fine is. I mean, those are set to what a minimum is, and then
Your first, second, and third offense is on how long you would maintain and keep the bike.
Correct.
That's where that was.
Yep.
Brian, and Chief, I believe that
It's confiscation for first offense is 5 days, 10 days for second offense, and 30 days for a third offense.
okay, but there's no dollar amount in there because we're using this, or
It'd be, municipal infraction, it's
whatever the code is.
whatever code says that.
Yep.
I think, Ralph, this is more lenient, actually. It's trying to say, if you go up to a teenager and say, you need to not do this, and they don't want to listen, then you tell the parent, and the parent knows that they're not supposed to, and then tells them as a good guiding parent. So they're trying to say, hey, let the parent take control.
That's
which is
exactly what
better.
I'm trying to say, is
And-
let the parent do it and not our officers do it, because
that's
they're
kinda
going
how
to
it works.
approach the parents. If you pull over a kid riding on the bike, a minor, then, and you don't get The kid says, no, you aren't having my bike. You can't take the bike because he didn't volunteer it over. So then that's when you go and you're speaking to the parents, correct?
Correct.
So you're still going to have the parent influx there. I don't know. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, I'm saying that they're still talking to the parent at the end of it.
Oh, absolutely.
And whether they wait till they're done with work or whatever, but the first point of contact is if the child isn't behaving, they talk to the parent and then let the parent. And then the next step is if the parents are like, screw you, and they go on to the next realm, which is, okay, you go at the pay a fine. So they're
Right.
giving them options out for a kid that misbehaves. I
Right.
think that's a good thing.
And I'm just looking at from this viewpoint, I don't want to put our officers in the situation of the kids looking down on the officers, because a lot of kids are scared of officers already anyway, unfortunately. And that would just be add to the complex problem of that, where when the officer will go and speak to the parent, leave it up to the parent on how they're going to discipline and handle it with the kid. And if they don't want to do something, then they have the option of the fine, and the parents are going to pay the fine. If parents keep paying 2 or 3 fines, I'm sure by that point, then they're going to do something with that kid.
I think that's a good reaction, because the cop is just saying, hey, bud, did you know you're not supposed to ride the whatever on Main Street? You just have to be a block off from here to there. Is that a bad interaction?
And they can still say that without confiscating the bike.
Well, they don't. The first time they don't.
Remember, what he said was, the way the statute is and the way that they're going to react is they're going to talk to them first. So the first time that they interact with them when they're on the sidewalk, they're not taking the bike or the skateboard or the
I
other.
totally understand
They
that.
may
but
not
it's
even be
not
taken.
written. It is not written that way that they will be talking the first time.
So what I would say is it's no different than getting stopped at a traffic stop for speeding or a parking violation, depending on if you had your handicap placard. The police officers have discretion to work and to treat people fairly and to make a good judgment call.
Absolutely.
So that is up to the officer's discretion on how they want to handle that particular call with that bicycle. And our officers, we've got a really good group of people, and everybody is there for the betterment of our community and to solve a problem that we have, not necessarily just out there to write tickets or to write municipal infractions to try to solve a problem.
Oh, I totally agree with that. That's not any argument on this point.
Do you think there's a better one that you'd like better? Something else?
I would like to have it amended and remove every step in here that deals with confiscating the bike.
Like no
Take it
compensation
out.
at all? But then the problem is that a teenager that's causing all sorts of problems for the parent, no matter how good of a parent they might be, would then just get the ticket, and the kid doesn't have to pay for it.
Yeah,
No, but the kid can't pay for it. You can't write the kid a ticket. You have to write the
Yeah, the
parents.
parent
But the
is
parents
being
paying the
punished.
fine doesn't teach the kid a lesson like taking his bike for the.
Well, that's a parenting issue. That's
Yeah,
not a
but
police
not a
officer
parenting
issue.
issue. Some kids are just have mental problems, could have any number of problems, and then the parents just suffering because they have a child that they can't control for whatever the reason,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're a good parent. There's been plenty of really great parents with kids that are not good, and they
Oh,
all you're gonna do is
absolutely.
punish them because they can't control their own child,
Okay.
and they can't give them away to the state.
Okay.
It's not even legally, they can't dump them after a certain age, so they'd be paying
Totally
fines
understand.
for a recluse child.
Brian.
Not trying to make them out on a molehill here. We just want to change the behavior and protect people coming out of business downtown. So we're getting a little off topic with giving kids away to the state, things like that. But we just need to change that behavior. And I disagree with what you're saying, Ralph. I think that we need something with teeth, because when it happens twice, we're not going to have to worry about it anymore. We've had it this way for 30 years that it could have been confiscated, and we have had where we had to confiscate things. But this is not a major issue, but we need to make sure that the education part of it happens, because we don't need anybody hurt on downtown coming out of businesses.
Oh, and I
So
totally agree with
I'm in
that.
favor of the confiscation, and we need, Chief Lau has said, these are trained professionals that are carrying out these duties, and they're wanting to educate too, because it just takes time out of good police work to haul a bike, pick up a bike and take it back to the police department, so they're gonna try to educate first. But if you have a reoccurring situation with an individual, just like any other law that we have, there's gonna have to be teeth in it toward the end, or you're gonna get the same result, which is what we have right now. We have to see a change in behavior.
I would like to say maybe we could change like where it says the hours. Because frankly, our downtown is dead after a certain hour. I mean, businesses they're done. And then you got a kid that couldn't make it across Main Street. I mean, the way it is, and then they can't even go across the bridge technically with their bike, you know?
Well, they can come through, they just have to walk the bike, but there's no reason why they can't
I
come
mean,
through.
nobody's gonna do that.
I understand.
So could we change
They are
it?
if we put this into effect and we put teeth behind it, they're gonna walk it.
I would rather say that we, after a certain hour, cut it.
It makes it harder by the time you start adding.
Yeah, and
Then-
you do have the residents and all the new apartments and stuff that are in the downtown area with people walking out of those apartment doors too, that could be an issue too. If someone's screaming by on a electric scooter or a bicycle and someone walks out of their apartment front door, that could be an issue.
But that can happen on any sidewalk anywhere else in Independence.
But most of the doors are pretty close to the sidewalk along downtown street.
But I think most of them park probably out back. Too. That theory.
Deb or Mike, either one of you have anything that you want to comment further on?
Let's vote on
I
this.
think with listening to Brian talk about it, the officer, that we have to do it this way.
Okay, so we'll call for the vote then. This will be a roll call vote.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
No.
Brusader,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
No.
Weber.
Yes.
Okay, so that passes. Okay, the second reading is passed. Given that the second reading is passed, I'm just going to forego, we wouldn't have enough votes to suspend the statutory rule, so I'm going to go ahead and not talk about that further. Do you want me to go off for a minute or do something with that?
Yeah, if we can take just a small break, I want to flip the audio off, turn it back on because we've got a buzzing.
Okay.
I mean, audio's back on, but we
Okay.
need to wait for
Am I waiting?
Melissa. to
Oh,
come back.
okay.
That's a nice break. I don't have any ice.
The sound is working on the city channel.
Okay, thanks, Mike. We were just getting some feedback, it sounded like. I think we got it now. We're just waiting for Melissa, just a second. Okay, moving on to item number 12. This is a first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 175 subdivision regulations. So first, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. This was discussed at the work session on January 5th, and what we're talking about here is the statewide urban design and specifications, which is SUDAS. And we had adopted that, but in terms of the various portions of the development agreements and waste, stormwater, a lot of the existing statute language is different than what SUDAS is. So because we're adopting SUDAS, we're going back and changing all of the language that is different than what SUDAS is with respect to a particular issue. So that's what the motion is, and the second, for further discussion on that, if any.
I think it's a great thing, and besides that, according to our city engineer, it gets us all lined up the way most everybody operates. So I think we need to fall in line with it.
Okay, let's move forward with a roll call vote then.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Ralph?
Moore.
We did have a motion on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Persauter.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 7-0. Next, does anybody want to bring a motion to suspend the statutory rule that an ordinance has to be, in order to be considered, has to be, for passage, has to be 2 council meetings prior to the passage, the reading and passage?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on that. So this would then be a roll call vote again. I need 6 out of 7 to have that.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Appleby.
No.
Weber.
Yes.
Hannah.
No.
Moore.
Yes.
Persauter.
Yes.
Maynard.
Yes.
Okay, that fails then because we don't have 6 out of 7. So moving then, so we'll have this on the next agenda, which will not be the next Monday. It'll be the Monday after that, whatever date that is.
The 26th.
Okay, 26 for second reading. Moving then to item number 13, this is a public hearing on the proposed resolution of necessity for the 2028 street rehabilitation project.
2026, Mayor.
Sorry, how about, you want to do 28 now or do 26?
No.
Let's get through this one
26.
first.
Okay, 26. So pursuant to the agenda, I'll now convene a public hearing on the resolution of necessity covering the 2026 street rehabilitation project. We do have some people that have
You want to have them come first?
that have come, so Donald Kohler, you want to come up first?
Sure. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello?
My name's Donald Kohler. I live at 718 5th Street Northeast. 3 years ago, this has been brought up, the same issue about the roads. We went to house to house to house. Nobody was agreed about bringing out any of their funds to pay for the road. We went to house to house to house again. I'm going to guarantee the same people, new people, are going to be against this. To me, just overlaying the road, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. We have sewer problems, we have water problems. 8th Avenue Street, or 8th Avenue Northeast, they had a little water problem. They ended up tearing 3-4 blocks to repair that. To me, you're just putting a Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid. You can look out at the street right out here, it's overlaid. It's just cracked in the same way. So you're just putting another Band-Aid on it. And I talked to Sue.
Susie.
She says that person can pay all at once or to pay 10 years down the line. That's going to be $20, $40 or more a month out of our mortgage that we got to figure out how to come up with it, plus our grocery money, our electric bills, everything else is going up. And then all of a sudden, we're getting thrown at us a $2,000 or more. More people, mine is going to be $2,000. And I don't know where I'm going to come up with it. And the city's not coming up with it. They got to borrow the money. How much of that money that we are paying and how much is the city paying? And on the long run, that's coming out of my property taxes because city's not coming out and paying for that. So I'm getting double banged for the same issue. So to me, I'm just totally against it.
Understood.
And if I have to, I'll have to go door to door to door to door, and we'll get a petition up again. And it'll happen the same way. Nobody wants it. If I drove around this last weekend, every road, I say not every road, 90% of the roads in the city
have somewhere or another little cracks or blemishes or whatever. My street alone, on Fifth Street, been torn up the last 3 years just to fix sewer issues or water issues. So what's going to happen? Every other neighbor going to have all of a sudden a sewer issue, and then we're going to tear it up, and that blacktop overlay is all ruined again. So I'm just totally against it. If I have to get a petition up, so be it.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Patricia McBride.
Hi.
Hello, I'm Patricia McBride. I'm at 402 O'Brien Court. So I'm here to talk about the 2026 street restoration letter that we got in December. In general, I would think most people want their city roads to be good, be fixed, be appropriate, and I want that as well. However, with the way this project has been going over the past several years, and now my street's on the list, I have some concerns that I don't know that I have the answers for, and I'm hoping you do, and you can provide me that information in some way. I want to know why the taxes we already pay aren't contributing to these repairs.
Can I interrupt you
Why
for 1
is
second?
this- Yeah.
The taxes that you do pay are due. The assessment itself is $30 per lineal foot in front of your house. So if your house has a frontage of 100 feet, it'd be times 30, $3,000. The rest of the money, which is about 70 to 75% of the money, is coming from the city itself. People are only paying just a portion of it for the area, for the lineal feet. That was something that was decided years and years and years ago. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just thought I'd give you that information because I don't know if you were aware of it or not.
Yeah, I didn't know, that was one of my questions, was if this was how you were going to plan to fix residential streets from here on out.
Sure, and if I can interrupt you one more time then. This is part of a 5-year plan. We're in year 5 of the 5-year plan. What we did was we had the engineer and the city streets department go out and inspect all of the streets throughout the city and rate each one of them. In rating them, we made determinations as to what was poor, what was very poor, what was, above, below average, et cetera. And then what we did was we took that and tried to put it into a list of what we're taking the worst streets first and then moving down the list so that everybody would know what was coming up the following year, because you've got 5 years of a list of which properties are going to be part of the next grouping. There's no way. I mean, the problem was that the city by itself cannot just, we do our maintenance work, we have our other things that come from the road taxes that we do. When we're trying to, years ago, the problem was that there wasn't enough money in the city budget, so no one did any repairs at all. So for the longest time, we had no repairs being done at all. And everybody was complaining about that, of course. So then the next thing that happened was we tried to resolve that problem by doing it this way and by having the residents kick some money in to assist it. I mean, so the average is probably somewhere around $3,000 or $4,000 is probably the average number per household. And the project, Mark, can you just tell me what's the total amount on this, or is this 700 and something?
$735,000.
Okay, $735,000 is the total cost of this project. And approximately how many houses do you know that?
There's approximately 60 residential houses, there's 8 to 10 businesses, and there's 2 or 3 multifamily.
Okay, thanks. So I don't know if that helps answer some of your questions or not.
60?
I do have additional concerns with who is responsible after this asphalt goes over top. Who is responsible for repairing any damage to maybe our lawn, property, curb, driveway, because I know I've seen complaints online from people that have had their streets done, and they had trouble getting those repairs done
Sure.
afterwards, and having someone held accountable for that.
Okay. Mark, do you want to come up and answer that for us, please? This is Mark Crawford. He's the engineer.
The other point was, when did they change this ordinance to do it this way? I know we discussed it.
10 years plus.
10 years plus. Very good.
Mark may know.
So it's been on for 10 years, this FYI too, that they made that decision on.
I mean, Mark can
70-30
give us a better idea.
Yeah, 10 to 12 years ago when they actually started, when the city
Yeah,
started doing
That's when they started.
street rehab projects again.
Okay.
Outside of the time that you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, that's when the assessment policy started. Patty, to your question about the repairs, if there's any repairs that need to be done to driveways or curb and gutter that is broken or sunken and is causing a pond, those will be included in the project, and those will be my responsibility, city's responsibility to make sure it get done and completed by the contractor. This project will include a 4-year maintenance bond, so if any of those repairs become in a default condition, then the contractor will be required to come back and make corrections.
And in addition, before we actually pay the contract the final money, you're going out inspecting with
Oh,
him?
sure, yep. Yep. We'll be overseeing all the construction.
During
yes.
construction?
During construction.
During the time?
Yep.
You to follow up each
Yep.
step the later? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Did that help at all?
Yes, related to that, since the repair, it sounds like some of it is an asphalt overlay, which we have seen downtown several times. What is the plan for when the street becomes cracked and falling apart again? Are all of the citizens going to be expected to have this type of one-time large payment again?
Mark, sorry, try to keep right. Why don't you find a seat up front? Can you answer that for too?
Sure. No, the asphalt overlay treatment, particularly in residential areas, is a very tried and true method to rehabilitate the streets. It gets anywhere from 15 to 20 years of service life, and then at that point, with some minor crack sealing that the city has the equipment to do on their regular maintenance, the city street superintendent and his staff go out and do the crack sealing with the cattle pot. So it's be part of an ongoing maintenance strategy by the city.
So I got a question. So if like the city tears it up because there was a plumbing issue,
They don't charge them.
they don't charge them?
The city pays to put it
Then
back.
it's just like the evaluation that they do.
Correct.
And then, but if it was tore up, like she said, Main Street was several times over, they wouldn't be recharged for
Correct.
anything. It's just if they spend a lifelong whatever and it's finally due because it looks really bad, then the city goes with the 30-70 split.
It's not quite a 30-70
Quite, but it's
split.
around that.
It's based upon the frontage, and it's $30 per lineal, per foot for the frontage of the property
Okay.
itself.
Okay.
Did you get all your questions answered?
Brad, let me interrupt a second. When it's the public's time to speak, they are to do it, and you in helping from the engineer, but we're not supposed to say anything until they're done, and then that's when we have our time for our questions, correct?
Correct.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Because we're supposed to be timing them or whatever, so we can
Right.
have them limited.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to hear as many people and get as much information as we possibly can. We're trying not to cut people off, even if you go over the 5-minute or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I figured since you were participating in my comments, that I would be allowed to continue, so.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
No, you definitely are. He's just pointing that out, I think.
No, that was definitely a concern for me, is how that would be handled, and if, people were going to be expected to do this again when 20 years from now, my street needs to be redone.
So how do you feel about it now?
I mean, I'm still not super happy about getting a $3,750 bill the day after Christmas. But Like I said, I understand that the streets need to be redone. I am frustrated about the way that the city has chosen to handle it.
One other thing that might be of help to you is that we don't even have, a contractor selected yet. So we don't know, the exact price of anything because the bid letting takes place in February. So in February, we'll know what the total amounts are to do that, and the work won't even start until sometime in the spring. And we've got a completion date for November of 2026. So that you're not going to be billed anything until all the work's completed. So this isn't something where you're writing a check in the next 60 days or something, just if that helps you as well.
So our individual fee amounts that were mailed to us were an estimate?
It's an estimate.
Yes.
And
Not the $30 per foot.
Yeah, $30 per foot.
That's, no, that, yes.
$30
Sorry,
per
go ahead,
foot.
I can't.
$30 per foot is the accurate number that you will have. The total amount of the project may be different because we don't know.
Okay, so the citizens fee, that side of it that they're paying is set, but what the city is going to pay might change.
Correct.
So it might not be 70/30.
Yeah.
The 70/30 split is inaccurate. It's just what the special assessment fee is $30 per linear foot
Yeah.
to a resident or a commercial business.
Yep.
Until the project is fully done, we don't know what resident city share is. Right now, this is just an estimate.
Okay.
But the
And- but the
$30
amount that we were
$30
sent
per foot
is
to the
what we're gonna
residents.
pay.
It's
I'm
not-
sorry.
The $30 per foot is, the $30 for the frontage foot is not going to change. That's what we decided on for.
That's my fault, because I've heard them explain it before, and they said about 30/70 for the split. So they said, because we were trying to figure out how and when and all this, and so that's my bad. Your amount is correct, because they know your square footage, and they've set the flat rate.
Yeah.
But as far as the city portion to about what a resident pays, that's where I came up with that 30/70. That's just me. I just threw that out because they're around there, okay?
Okay.
Not that's gonna change, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you wait with your questions and your comments until we get to the end?
Yeah. You too.
I get to talk.
No, he gets.
You do?
I do. I'm the only one.
I'm the only one? Okay, gotcha.
Okay, next would be Brenda Boyce, is that right?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Brenda Boyce. I live at 413 12th Avenue Northwest. We are the last house on the dead end, right next to a farm field that goes like this. And when it rains, we have a huge amount of water that just heads for our basement. We've had Mid-America Basement Systems fix our basement and the water issues by putting a drainage line out to the curb. And I just would like to request that before our curb is all dug up, that somebody, an engineer from the city or street department might come out and take a look at the setup where Mid-America Basement Systems put the drain right up next to the curb, and there is a natural cut there where in installing that curb, the water seeps through, goes down the street, and we're good to go. But if that were to change, then the water's going to back up in our yard. So I just would like to request that we have an engineer come out and look at our yard and make sure all this is going to work when it's done.
Let me introduce you to the engineer that's going to check that for you. He's right behind you.
Yes, Ms. Boyce, one of the things that we did last year, 2 years ago, we did 11th Avenue Northwest, and we had 2 instances of the exact same thing she just described. We made sure that they were able to continue their drainage work.
Thank you, Mark, appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, Brenda.
There wasn't anybody else there.
So,
Go ahead.
unless you want to. I received an email from Jenny Lammers. I do not have the actual property address noted at this time. She just had general questions about the project. She did not state if she was for or against it in her email. But Crawford has already been in touch and answered her questions to the ones I couldn't answer. Then I had a phone call from Steve Pruce at 909 9th Street Northwest. He had questions about why is the city worried about a dead-end street? Knows there's 2 or 3 spots that need to be fixed. It seems silly to fix the whole street. questions about property owners waiving all objections unless at the time of the hearing, like what does that mean? So I explained it to him. Why is the city jumping all around Independence fixing roads? Why not do it in certain areas and just kind of work around? He was worried about water lines breaking because of machine vibrations. He mentioned Bland Boulevard. He said he was against the project. He would rather spend the $3,000 on something that better benefits himself than trying to fix the road. I did tell him, I talked with him and explained what I could, but I'm like, Crawford Engineering worked with the street department. They rated the roads. I kind of encouraged him to reach out to Crawford. Crawford can explain the more technical aspects of stuff. So.
Yep, I visited with Mr. Bruce this afternoon as well. I don't know that I changed his mind or opinion, but I did answer all the questions related to the construction work and the type of project and the things that'll be happening. So I did visit with him.
Thank you. Susie, just for a note, Jenny Lammers would be 405 8th Avenue Northeast.
Okay.
Okay, so then, well, you want me to close this and then have a discussion under the other part?
That's fine. Well, I guess it's up to you.
What I'm debating is whether to close the public hearing and then have further discussion with regard to the proposed resolution of necessity and have the council's discussion part in that section as opposed to in the public hearing section.
That's the right way to do it.
I think that's the correct way to do it.
Okay, so then I'll now close the public hearing. The clerk will note all comments for the record. Okay, so the next question to council is, okay. So
You need a motion on it first before we go into discussion, correct?
I do, but hold on a second. I'm trying to figure out where the motion goes. Am I jumping down to 15 then? Is that where I'd be?
So there's two courses of action. We can amend the proposed resolution of necessity to where basically you are striking out sections of the project. If council wishes to do that, this could potentially push the project timeline back because we would need to restructure everything. I don't know, probably send out new notices. Or you could leave it as is and we could do a motion, approve it as presented and leave everything in.
When I looked this up dealing with this exact issue, I was debating on if any changes did get made in the wording or terms or dollar values. Once you have the motion on the floor to approve this and then we get in discussion, you can not make a motion to change it. However, you can make an amendment and change items within the motion, and it still can be done as a second reading.
But we wouldn't have a
There
first
is
and
no-
second readings for
It's
this.
not like an ordinance.
This is a resolution.
Well, it's a resolution, but based on what Robert's Rules of Orders is, that is,
But, so
it
if
can be done that way.
either the council wants to change the scope of the project, if so, then we would need to amend the proposed resolution of necessity.
Or you could
you
amend
could-
dollar figures.
We don't
No,
have dollar figures.
no,
yet.
there's,
Well, the 30-foot, you do have a dollar figure,
yes, but, so then you would need to change the resolution of necessity.
okay?
It's either you guys are gonna change the project scope, or you're gonna leave it alone, and we're gonna move the project as tentatively scheduled.
So, discussion with respect to whether anyone wants to change the scope of the 2026 rehabilitation project.
Yes, I would like to have that discussed.
Okay.
Yes, I'd like a change.
What do you want changed?
I honestly think that the city should either tax at a higher rate so that every resident is paying, so that we can do these projects of 10 roads per year.
Okay, but that's not what...
That's separate from this item.
Okay, so this item
would-
here is you've got a list of all the different streets that are part of this project.
So this is street by street individual.
So the question is, does anyone on the council want to discuss whether you want to remove any of the streets from this particular project?
Sure, let's change.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Well, I think the one that gravel into Dead End Road is a good argument.
Yeah, which one was that?
I mean,
You know,
it was 805
Territory.
or something.
is that the cul-de-sac, Lauren?
No, the cul-de-sac is O'Brien, I think.
Bryan Court is a cul-de-sac. 12th Avenue Northwest is the road that goes up into the field, dead ends at the field. We did, like I said, we did 11th Avenue last year, or the year before. 9th Street Northwest as a dead end on the west end. Last year, we did 7th Street Northwest, same thing. Exact same area, 2 blocks away.
Okay, so this would have been Priest, I think, it would be the one we're talking
Yeah,
about.
9th Street Northwest. What's,
Which dead-end street?
The ones that you just said, what is that street?
the only one I am aware of is 9th Street Northwest,
9th Street Northwest?
9th,
House number, please?
Could I make one comment?
909.
Just 1 second, Deb.
909. Over.
So this would be the third item down, which is the 9th Street Northwest from 9th Avenue Northwest on the east to the west city limit. That's the one that you want to talk about changing?
Yeah, and then the other residents that talked tonight that were dissatisfied as well. I think it was 718 Fifth Street Northeast.
Okay, with regard to the 5th Street, I asked Mark to look at that street today. Did you get a chance to look at that, Mark? Can you tell us whether that meets the definition of necessity?
Yeah, I can get my piece of paper out here.
Give me that address again, please. The 12th. Mr. Priest or whatever.
909 9th Street Northwest.
Thank you.
5th Street Northeast, there's 2 one-block segments of 5th Street Northeast, from 5th to 6th and from 7th to 8th. Both of those, the most recent rating in 2022 that we did were rated very poor. They both have areas of sufficient decracking and spalling at the center joints. The one block between 7th and 8th has been patched near the west end, and the patch is starting to crack. It was patched with concrete, and it's starting to crack. The middle of the block is broken up and sunken. So there's significant both decracking and longitudinal cracking happening. We have something going on.
Okay. And the first block would be the block next to the senior center, right? Is that
Correct. Between the senior center on the south and the church on the north.
Okay. So, thank you, Mark. So where we are is if there's streets that you want to remove, then we would discuss the removal of those streets, and then we would vote on whether or not to remove those streets from the plan.
Okay.
But I need to know all the changes you guys want to take out from the project. The motion needs to state that.
Yes.
Okay, and then I think it's 414.
Now, I want to mention, remember there's multiple other residences on these streets,
Yeah.
okay? We're not talking about just theirs
Yeah,
in
but
front of
this
their
is,
house.
if we vote tonight, then that seals it, right?
Yes.
And then we can't change it later, so we can change it later if we don't vote tonight on it.
Well,
So-
we would, this happened a couple of years ago, and a person came forward and was complaining about it and didn't want to have it and brought a petition forward, and then what happened was council just removed it from, and people wanted the work done, they just didn't want to pay for it. And it ended up, council decided at that point, which is not most of the people that are here, council decided at that point that they were not going to move forward at all with that particular street, and it still hasn't been done, won't be done.
This has taken significant amounts of planning, money, and time. And people have been apprised of when this was going to take place. You know, if they had complaints, they needed to come forward and make the complaints, you know, and if there's 1 out of 7 on a street, you know, the reason we put this $30 in was because we had no money. This started 11 years ago.
Deb, you got something too?
Who was talking just there?
Mike?
Okay.
Hold on,
We can
Mike.
leave all these streets in, and if, just like you said, the property owners don't want it, the first guy got there and said he can get petitions and get it signed and then get it stopped. There's no reason for us to take any of the roads out. The street department and whoever has worked hard with the engineer to get these streets in there and get them done. And they're also going to know the price of it when they get the letter, because the $30 is per how many footage they have. It's not going to change how much that road costs.
The only concern I
They
have,
have 10 years to make repayment through their property taxes at 4% interest. My math is correct. Is that correct, Sue?
So yes, it is a 10-year payback once it goes to the county. Historically, the city council has chosen 4% interest. That is subject to change with every street project, to where if council wanted to do 1%, 2%, 6%, council can decide that, but that is chosen at a later date, not tonight.
Okay, so what we're talking about right now is, Melissa, you've indicated that there's a couple of streets that you want removed. Keeping in mind, you're not removing just an individual, you're removing everybody on that entire street, so they won't get the repairs in the streets in that area.
yeah, and then the reason why I want to is just because I think that people don't see it coming. Like the residents tonight, they don't see it coming. They may not know about the city statute of that's what we do. And then they find out about it, like they do, out of nowhere. And then they have a $3,000 bill sitting at their desk, and they didn't know about the city ordinance rules. And so, yeah.
They also
I
have
do.
till almost the end of the year before they would actually get a bill for it too.
But could they change it after we voted? Yeah.
Change what?
So if we vote yes on these 10 streets, then they have no course of action to change it, right?
We'll move
No,
forward.
that's what a resolution of necessity does. It approves paying the contractor and the engineer to begin the process of getting bids to fix the streets.
What does a resident do if they don't want it done now? They get a $3,000 bill.
Well, they come here just like they've
Or
done
contact
tonight.
City Hall.
Yeah,
And object.
They get the petition.
okay. They do a petition, and then what happens?
If there's a petition, basically, so when 3 years ago, when the first petition we got, it is 75% of the assessment value that can potentially halt the project, but it has to be, yeah. At that, there was not, the percentage wasn't there at that time for council for it to actually put a stop, but there was enough people in opposition to that street rehab project, council decided, we are not doing the project at all. So that year, nothing was done. Therefore, streets have gotten worse. Now the streets need to be done. To where if
And
you...
the cost has gone up.
Exactly, thank you, Councilmember O'Laughlin. To where if you take out streets, that's fine. But keep in mind, it's going to be who knows how long, because there could be another street or avenue somewhere else that gets worse and needs to be done before O'Brien Court Northwest gets done. To where something could happen, they could get a lot more traffic and it needs to be done. Well, now you got bumped to the bottom of the list. And I only picked that one just because I picked one, not because you're here.
Okay, so
Brad? On
And if we
that,
don't pay this way, we're going to pay on property taxes. Either way, you're going to pay.
The only difference, though, is that it wouldn't fall on one individual home. It would be spread throughout.
well, this is
the
spread
city.
throughout too. I mean, we got a 700 and how much? $735,000 project, and they're being asked to pay $2,000.
Well, I mean, $3,000 for an individual home is pretty hard.
Yes, all up at once, but there is a 10-year payback period to where once it goes to the county, they have 10 years to pay it.
But they're still paying 4% interest out of nowhere.
It does not
Yeah.
necessarily have to be 4%. Council decides that later. Historically, it has been 4%.
Okay.
I'm just saying that it still
Let's-
comes as an unexpected expense
Okay,
to residents who are unaware of the city ordinance as it is.
Okay, let's do this way.
Brad?
I'm going to ask for a motion by Melissa to remove certain projects from, certain streets from this particular project. And then we'll see if there's a second, and then we can have a vote on whether we're going to remove certain streets from the project. Is anybody opposed to be doing it that way?
Yes.
I have no problem with a motion being made because it can be voted down or voted in favor. The only thing I'm talking about is on 9th Street. According to the paperwork I have on all the streets and houses, it looks like there's 4 residents on that street. And according to what you were talking about, a petition before a motion gets made, it takes 75, correct me if I'm wrong, it takes 75% of the residents on that particular
No.
street. What's the
75%
percent?
of the project.
I have to have
75% project?
75% written objections of the assessment total value to pause the process.
She's saying that.
For the entire
For the
project,
entire
not
project,
based
I
on a
know.
per street individual basis.
Total project, overall, 75% written objection
Okay.
of the total assessed value.
I knew that 75% fell into
Yes.
place somewhere.
So Mike, why don't you want me to try to resolve this by saying yes or no to whether they want to change something?
Because it's going to delay the process. It's going to delay the bidding, it's going to delay
No,
everything.
right, but Mike, if we have a vote right now, and there's no second, or there's, the majority does not want to amend the list, then then we'll move forward with the resolution for necessity.
Correct.
Okay.
But if we take a road out of there, maybe somebody that lives on that road wants that done.
Agreed.
Has Melissa talked to these people to know they don't want it?
I haven't gone to all the addresses and asked them, no.
All right, so Melissa, you're making a motion to remove from the project, which specific ones again?
Let Melissa tell you.
Yeah.
909, 9th
No,
Street.
No.
I can't, no, it's not certain properties, it's,
The entire street.
I need to know the areas.
I see that list. All right. West. And this isn't the call, or wrote in about the dead end road was on the email was on 9th Street Northwest,
That's
right?
this one right here.
But that was the one
The phone
that,
conversation I had was 909 9th Street Northwest.
It's this property right here.
okay, and the first citizen was 718 5th Northeast. North
Mark, I'm probably gonna need your help
Street.
for where these are, because I need it in the motion.
So I'm not sure if you're on 5th Avenue Northeast or 7th Avenue Northeast.
5th Avenue Northeast, approximately 15.1 feet to west of 5th Avenue.
Fifth Avenue Northeast.
Okay, so then it would be the 5th Street Northeast, 5th Avenue Northeast, 6th Avenue Northeast one? Or would it be the 3rd Street Northeast, 4th Avenue, 5th Avenue Northeast?
He's Fifth Street.
So it's the 5th Street Northeast from a point approximately 15.1 feet from 5th Avenue Northeast on the west to 6th Avenue Northeast on the east side, is that correct?
Okay, all right. And then it's your 414? 414?
She's not
402.
not objecting, are you?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, add her.
Okay, O'Brien Court, there it is. Okay, those three.
Okay,
Oh,
I need you to state that.
okay, I'm ready. O'Brien Court Northwest from 12th Avenue Northwest to North End. 9th Street Northwest from city limits to 9th Avenue Northwest. 5th Street Northeast from 5th Avenue Northeast to 6th Avenue Northeast.
Mark, is that?
Those three. And then that would leave 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so then the question is anybody going to second that motion in order to have it proceed to a vote?
Can I have that back, please? Thank you.
Anyone there? Okay, so it's going to, that fails for lack of a second. Okay, now I go to, sorry. I go 15.
Yep.
Okay, so now we move to item number 15. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution of necessity for 2026 street rehabilitation project.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion with respect to this issue now that we've been talking about?
This,
I have one question.
Yes.
When is the deadline for the people to get the petition signed and have it done?
That's a good question.
That I would have to double check, and then I can let council know.
Yeah, I don't.
Thank you.
I don't know the answer. Sorry, Deb.
Okay.
Okay, further discussion with regard to this.
this one doesn't deal with the dollar amount per residence?
No.
Does it?
No.
That's
It's
the
only-
next, that's the next one?
No, so the next, basically,
This is just saying that those streets need to be done. It's a resolution of necessity, which what Mark is telling us, those streets are necessary in order to have the repairs made. So you're voting on a resolution of necessity for this particular project as a whole. Understood?
Because we did 14 and we're on 15.
We're on, this is.
14 died for lack of a second, so now you're approving the original resolution of necessity for the project as originally outlined. Basically saying this is the project council
14 didn't
wants to-
die due to the lack.
Of a second.
There was no second. She made the motion.
Her motion died to eliminate
Yes,
a
that was
street.
to amend it. There was no second, so it died. Now we are doing the resolution of necessity
Mm-hmm.
as originally planned.
So which one comes up? Is that under 16 where
No,
the dollar
15.
amount falls into play?
I'm confused, why are you asking about a dollar
We're not talking
amount?
about the dollar amount. What are you?
Because if we're moving forward with this,
Yeah.
which one has the charge to the residents dollar amount attached to it? Or is that coming after the bids?
We won't know the total dollar amount.
mean the
I'm not
final-
talking about total dollar amount, I'm talking about the dollar amount that is charged to the resident, the
The
$30 per
final
foot.
amount?
The $30 per foot,
I understand the $30. Are you talking the final amount?
not the final amount,
Okay,
no.
so council already authorized the preliminary, and that was sent out. Now you are approving the project as originally presented, so I'm confused.
But you can make an amendment now to the dollar amount.
Hold on one second.
Ralph, what you're referring to is the action the council took approximately a month ago that allowed Suzie to send out the notices at the stated amount of $30 per foot.
Correct.
That action has already happened and is gone.
So you're not voting on that tonight? That was done?
That was one of the initial actions of the assessment proceedings.
But when do we have the first, second, and third readings?
There are
There
none.
there is
There are
no
none.
Thank you,
reading,
Mark.
that's
Okay.
only for ordinances.
Okay, so the dollar amount cannot be changed.
But the
Correct.
interest rate can be.
Yes, at the, basically, once the project's done and we come back with, okay, now it's time to send out the final assessment stuff, that is when council can decide the interest rate that gets charged if a resident does not pay the city within 30 days of the first publication date.
But as far as what he's saying, you guys have already
They're-
voted on the
they're-
30.
That $30 is set.
It's already set.
Done.
And only way we can bring that up again is to bring it back up as an agenda item. Because you guys already voted on that?
I don't,
Next year's street project.
basically, yeah, probably next year's street
27th
project.
2027 street project.
Right. Okay, so I've got my motion and I've got my second. Let's have a roll call vote then.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Persader,
Yes.
Maynor,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
No.
Weber.
Yes.
Okay, passes 6-1. We then move to item number 16. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution ratifying the preparation of detailed plan specifications, notice of hearing, notice of bidders, and form of contract.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so this is the next step in the process. Once we have the resolution of necessity, then we have, this particular one ratifies everything We've already sent this information out to the different contractors for bidding. The bids are due on the 4th
4th at 11 a.m.
of February, and then we have another public hearing on the 9th of February with respect to the same, not the same issue, but generally the same issues
Yeah.
regarding the project, at which time the bid would be, the bids will be open, and we'll be selecting an actual contractor to perform the work for a stated amount. Okay? So any further discussion with regard to this? Hearing none, that we move forward with a roll call vote then.
Moore,
Yes.
Versater,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 17. Item number 17, I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution that increases the fire station fees, the fire services fees as shown in Exhibit A of the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to second. If you look at your packet, page 200, that would provide the categories and the percentage of increases in the previous rates and proposed rates. Any further discussion with regard to that?
Is that for like the townships and stuff?
No, this is if the fire department gets called out and has to do cleanup.
And who pays, who do they bill for this?
So in theory, if I have the insurance company's information, I send it to them. If not, I send it to what's the right word? The driver?
The responsible
The
party.
responsible party, thank you.
Okay, further discussion?
Are property owners being charged, you mean? Or,
No, so like say if you're, not that I ill wish you, Deb, but like say you get into an accident and your car leaks fluid, if you didn't have
Yeah.
insurance, I would send you the bill. But
okay,
if
okay,
if
thank you.
it's car insurance, I would send it to your car insurance agent.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. We'll have a roll call vote on that then.
Crusader,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Okay, next we move to item number 18. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution designating the 2028 city depository as Bank Iowa.
So moved.
What did I say?
You said 2028. That's a 6.
That's a 6?
That's a 6.
I want to skip a couple
You got a
years.
spot on your
No.
glasses.
2028, yeah.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader.
Yay.
That passes 7-0. Next, move to item number 19. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution designated the Bulletin Journal as the newspaper for official publications for the city of Independence.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This will be a roll call vote.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Maynard.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 20. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution that approves the lot combination agreement for the recording fees to be added to the previously approved claims listing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we're talking about 803 Pine Drive, and what had happened was they have two adjoining lots. It's lot number 8 and 9 in the Pines First Edition. The restrictive covenants specifically separated the parcels, but the city never did separate the parcels itself. So what we're doing is, this is cleanup. So we have planning and zoning that's already unanimously approved this on January 6th. So what we need to do is we need to approve, I'm sorry? Combining the properties, and there was a fee for the recording, and I think it was $7. No, that's a different one, right? Never mind.
That's a different one.
Yeah, never mind. So I have a motion and a second. Do you want further discussion on this?
No?
Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote then.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Maynard.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Okay, that also passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 21. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution approving, appointing Brad Lichty to the airport board.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. As you'll recall, we didn't have anybody that was interested in the airport board or commission's position. So Mr. Lichty came forward, indicated that he had an interest. I had him meet with Brett. I had him talk to Brett first, then I had Brett meet with him, and they went out to the facility itself, gave him a tour, talked to him out there. He actually attended the meeting on Wednesday, even though he wasn't officially appointed. And it looks like he's got an interest, so I've recommended that we appoint him to that position.
Is he at the meeting tonight?
No, he's not.
So we can't ask any questions, okay.
How many people are on that board, Brad?
Brett, how many on the board? Five. Five board
I was
members.
thinking 5. So as of right now, you're short 1, you have 4.
Correct.
I think you could verbalize your question for the record, Deb, if you so chose.
Okay, I did talk to the mayor about this today, and just for the council to know what my thought is on this. If you go to any of the Board of Supervisors meetings or watch him, he's at these meetings. And at the end, he's gotten up and asking for one of the resignations. And I think what he says at that meeting, hopefully we would not allow at our meetings. So if he doesn't like some at the airport board, is he going to come in and rip our council people a new one, like he's done at the Board of Supervisors?
What? I don't understand.
I don't know.
If anybody has any questions, ask.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. What did you say exactly? I don't get it.
She's concerned that because at the supervisors meeting in public comment there, he's expressed his position with respect to certain supervisors, and she's concerned that if he doesn't like something that happens in terms of the board, that he'll come to our council meeting and he'll attack the council members.
Oh, the guy that wants to volunteer has expressed complaints. Okay, all right, I get it now.
Further discussion?
Do we have, of the 4 board members that are there, how many have some background dealing with aviation?
Well,
and
Ralph,
things?
let me stop you because the way the board is set up, you can come up if you want.
I know it's...
The way the board is set up, you have to have non-residents who have no pilot's license, no leasing anything, and this would be that position. It's not the position of somebody that already that has the pilot information and et cetera. He does have some experience with that in terms of his family background.
That's my question. What type of background does he have dealing with aviation?
His father or uncle or one of his relatives back in the, when he was growing up, operated an airport. So he has some knowledge of that. He's not a pilot. He doesn't have a hangar out at our facility.
Well, you can have, you'll be on the board.
Well, 2 of the board members are allowed to do that, and they are. The other 3 are not. And he'd be one of the 3 that would not be allowed to have that. And we don't have.
No, that was my question, is, does he have any background in aviation? You said his dad used to run one and stuff, so he's familiar a little bit of
He has a
operation.
little bit of familiarity, but not so much that it excludes him from holding this position on the board.
And that's why I raised the question.
I don't know why we...
What brings his interest to be on the board?
He was at a supervisors meeting that I was at. The supervisors were talking about filling some of their board positions. When it came to public comment, I said, I know you're filling your positions, but we're looking to fill a position too, since this is a broadcast meeting. If there's anybody out there that's interested in being on the city airport board, then I'd like you to contact us so that we can do it. And then he came forward and indicated he had some interest, he had some questions and concerns. That's why he wanted to talk to Brett first. That's why he wanted to go out and look at the facility first before he made a decision that he was actually interested in doing it.
And nobody else knows of any other volunteers, correct?
We did not have anybody else
There
that's
you go.
volunteered. It's an unpaid position.
There you go.
Okay? Anything else?
But you can always wait to find a better candidate.
I mean, you're gonna leave an open seat with nobody that wanted an interest because he might complain? I don't think that's justifiable.
And we also have one of the board members that had indicated she'd like to get off the board, but I told her that we needed her because we needed for quorum purposes, so she agreed to stay on. But if there's somebody else that's interested in it, she'd be willing to step away too,
Okay.
if that helps. Okay, let's have a roll call vote on this then.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
No.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-1. Next, we move to other business. I need a motion to approve the lease termination for the Streeter Aircraft Mechanic Services effective January 31, 2026.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, background.
Second. Thank you, Brett.
Background-wise, as you'll recall, Streeter does maintenance work, and we had given him a short-term contract out there while we were still looking for, potentially have somebody that would be long-term. On January 1st of this year, he gave written notice of his intent to terminate the lease. In the meantime, between now, and this will be effective January 31st, 2026. So in the meantime, he came forward and indicated that he had an interest potentially in continuing on a month-to-month basis while he got set up someplace else because he's moving to Maquoketa Airport. And the Airport Commission discussed this at their last meeting last Wednesday and voted to accept his termination of the lease effective January 31, 2026, and they're just asking you to ratify that. So any questions, concerns regarding that? If there's no questions, then we would move to a roll call vote.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 23. I need a motion to approve the release of a promissory note and mortgage for Christy Youngblood for the recording fee to be added to the previously approved claims listing. First, I need the motion.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, this is a property at 818 8th Street Northwest. In 2019, we entered into an agreement with them to provide down payment assistance. As part of the down payment assistance program, we have a recorded note and mortgage on the property, even though there's no anticipated return of value. The house is now sold, and in order to finalize the closing of it, they need us to release the promissory note and the mortgage, and the filing fee is $7. So that would be added to what we have already. Any questions or further discussion?
So did she meet all of our regulations and she doesn't owe the city anything?
That is correct, Deb.
Thank you.
Okay, this will be a roll call vote then.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 24, which is I need a motion to approve and authorize the city manager to sign the ILPT annual billing agreement.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to this?
They do a beautiful job, and they also take call or accept the calls, which really, they're invaluable in our circle. They really help the city.
Further discussion? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote also.
I would say I thought we should find somebody cheaper. McCraw Human Resources.
Okay. This is a roll call vote then.
Prusader,
Yes?
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
No.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-1. Next, I move to item number 25. This is a motion to approve an agreement with McGrath Human Resources Group for the classification and compensation study, and to authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
So moved.
So move.
So I have a,
Well,
You just said,
Mike, do you want to be the second? Because Brett was the motion.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
okay, so so
did you say the wrong earlier?
basically what we're talking about here is a compensation study it's going to cost $37,500 approximately. It's $37,344. This was discussed at the work session last week on January 5th. So the question is, the contract was attached. The company is out of Tennessee. You can, page 222 and 22 through 225 or 6, nope, that's 7, through 227 is the proposed contract itself. So discussion regarding this?
Yeah, one question. The 37,344, right? It's the total. So it says their travel expenses not to exceed 5,000. So if it's under 5,000, it could be less than that 37.
I guess so.
That's how I would take it. I mean, we can clarify. My thoughts and interpretation is this is just the high end are, the travel expenses are not in the 37,000. I just got a Teams message from Matt.
Okay.
It's it could be on and above. That up to 5,000
It's
above.
potential. I believe, and I can't speak knowingly for sure, I think they probably high estimate, and we may not even use any travel. We may do virtual. So my thought is they probably budgeted high because they don't know for sure. Honestly, it's better to budget high than lower, because then it's not so much of a, okay, say 20,000 and then, now we got to charge you an extra 15 or 20 because we didn't know about all this work.
And a lot of it depends on how many times you guys contact them and they actually have to come up here, so
Well,
traveling time depends on
We
our
may not,
staff.
there may not
May
be
not be
that
any
much
travel
because
time
we
at
could
all.
do virtual, yes.
Correct. Brian?
I've thought a lot about this over the course of the last week when we talked about it at the work session. And I was on board last week to do this. I felt that it was something that we needed professional services for. And the more I've thought about it, as far as with my own personal experience from in management and working with employees, I think that we could utilize that money better elsewhere. I know that when we talked about this, Susie, I know that you and Matt both had expressed concern with the amount of time it would take to do it. And I'd like to propose that we don't put that on the 2U. I think that we look at, if we were to look at the job requirements of our department heads, I think that's something that they could put together and then have discussions with Matt about and come up with what we feel is adequate salaries and wages for our employees,
I agree.
Okay,
as well as their job descriptions.
okay. Two things. I have an email from Matt regarding this about why we should do it, and the following analysis outlines the legal and operation liability and on out-of-date job description creates for an Iowa municipality, which I can read all that. If you guys want me to, I can.
I think I would definitely want to have, if we're now talking about legal, I would definitely want, did he talk with Doug Herman, and Doug Herman said that that's the case? I mean, I would want to make sure that that's the case.
That I don't.
Not doubting Matt, I'm
Right,
just saying
no.
I'd like to hear that from Doug Herman.
I know Doug has reviewed the contract, and there's, I think, some, maybe a little things that need to clarify on.
He's got some concerns about some of the issues.
He does.
But, okay, but, I mean, if, It's not that much to read.
And that's fine, I have no problem.
Okay.
Can I ask one
So-
question before you do, Susan?
Okay.
Do we know if there's a requirement on timeline for job description when we were talking about that legal? Is there, that one has to be performed every 6 years, 10 years?
That I don't know, but here, okay, so everything he sent me comes from state code. Okay, so an inaccurate job description is not merely an administrative lapse, it is a significant liability document. In Iowa, where municipal immunity is limited and specific statutes like civil service and veterans preference impose strict procedural requirements, a job description often serves as the controlling instrument in court. If the document does not match the daily reality of the employee's work, we lose our primary defense in disputes regarding pay, injury, termination, and liability shielding. Tort liability and scope of employment law, Iowa Code Chapter 670. Under Chapter 670, tort liability of governmental subdivisions, the city is generally liable for the torts of its officers and employees acting within the scope of their employment. The risk. If an employee causes harm while performing a task not listed in their job description, the city's insurance carrier or legal counsel may argue the act was outside their scope of employment to avoid liability. However, this can backfire. If the city cannot prove the employee was acting within their scope, we may be unable to indemnify them, leading to internal lawsuits and morale crisis. Conversely, if a plaintiff proves the city implicitly authorized the undocumented task, the city is fully liable but lacks the written protocols to prove that we exercised due care in training for the task. Number 2, Civil Service Appeals, Iowa Code Chapter 400. For cities operating under Civil Service Chapter 400 governs appointment, promotion, and discharge. The risk. The Civil Service Commission relies on the official classification to determine if an exam was fair or if a disciplinary action was arbitrary. If we discipline a civil service employee for failing to perform a duty that appears nowhere in their description, the commission and subsequently the district court is likely to overturn the discipline. We essentially hand the employee a winning argument that they were never officially assigned the duty in the first place. 3. Veterans Preference Disputes, Iowa Code Chapter 35C. Iowa Veterans Preference Law provides strong protections for veterans in appointment and retention. The risk. If a veteran applies for a role and meets the written qualifications of an outdated description, but is rejected because they lack a new but unwritten skill, we face a high risk of a successful legal challenge. Furthermore, veterans can only be removed for incompetency or misconduct after a hearing. Proving incompetency is nearly impossible if the competency standard is not clearly defined in the current job description. Number 4, ADA and essential functions. Federal ADA compliance relies heavily on the written job description to define essential functions. The risk. If a job description fails to list a physical requirement, an example must lift 50 pounds, that is actually essential, we may be forced to accommodate an employee who cannot perform that task simply because we cannot prove it is essential on paper. Conversely, if the description lists obsolete physical requirements that screen out disabled applicants, we face discrimination claims for enforcing barriers that no longer exist in reality. Number 5, wage and hour classifications, Fair Labor Standards Act. Misclassification is one of the most expensive errors a city can make. The risk. Job descriptions are the first piece of evidence auditors review to determine FLSA exemption status. If a description uses exempt language, for an example, independent judgment, but the employee's actual day-to-day work has shifted to non-exempt routine tasks, we are liable for back overtime wages up to 3 years and liquidated damages. The economic reality of the job always trumps the written title. Number 6, workers' compensation, Iowa Code Chapter 85. The risk. When an injury occurs, the job description helps determine if the injury arose out of and in the course of employment. An outdated description can obscure whether a specific hazardous activity was part of the job. Additionally, when determining return to work or light-duty options, medical providers rely on the job description to set restrictions. If the description ignores current physical demands, a doctor may release employee to work prematurely, leading to re-injury and compounded claims.
Is that done? Are you?
I am done. Now, my second point, right now, this time of year, we're all working on budget and other projects to where, and I try to say this with as much respect as I can, our plates are full. We don't have time to do this. Plus, you're going to have departments that think their employees should be doing XYZ and make 1, 2, 3 for amounts. Where if we have a company come in, they will look at our job descriptions. Right now, we do not have salary ranges to where if somebody leaves, it's up to the department head to figure out, and if it's a non-union position, this is what they're going to start at. We don't have that right now. To where we have staff that feel they do so much more work, but they're not paid fairly for it. To where that's why we need the study to have a third party come in with no ties to anybody and do this for us, because again, our plates are full. You put this on us, then our normal day-to-day stuff is not going to happen. And if I don't submit the budget, we are SOL. We're stuck with property tax money. We can't get more, even though it's already being reduced at the state level. This is very valuable for us to do it. It is in the budget to do, and I encourage you to approve it.
I think it's $37,000 to pay an outside company to write up, one time only, this year only, to say,
But
this is what it's gonna be.
they're teaching us how to do it. So for future,
I honestly, I don't understand, doesn't the city manager already know how to? Doesn't the department heads lean towards him to be able to
we
say
do,
legally where
but he
they
also,
stand?
he has other stuff he needs to worry about right now. He has the federal grant opportunity for First Street West to do from the bridge to city limits. He has the wastewater treatment plant project he is working on. When is he supposed to fit this into his schedule? Plus all the other day-to-day stuff he's got going on with the city.
So,
I'm sorry, but we don't work 24/7. We have lives outside of here.
But we're paying him a lot of money in order to do this. And we're going to spend $37,000 to have somebody else do the work.
I understand it's a lot of money, but we have it in the budget. We don't have, our plates are full with other things. If you put this on,
But nobody said it has to be done right now.
Nobody says.
so two things. Isn't this something that Iowa League of Cities could provide us?
No,
How not?
because
They're a
it's-
group within.
they can offer advice and stuff like that, but this is not something they do.
They do a compensation study every
I
year.
can't believe that they wouldn't.
But they require cities to give them the information. They don't come and do it for you.
They don't do a compilation on the course of the year on what they get from other cities?
But you have to have cities do that. So like normally, right, you don't have to do it. Like every year I get one from Esterville where like the positions we have here in Independence don't match other cities. For example, I'm an assistant city manager, city clerk, treasurer. Where in Iowa is another one of those positions? So how can I accurately say this is what I should be making? To where this is, if you have a third party, they can look at things. Basically, they can look at my job description right now. Are you doing these things? Yes or no? But the employees will be involved in this, but we can give our input. We can say, this is what I do, this is what I don't do. But other than that, all our plates are full. You're asking for the moon and the stars, and I can give you tree branches and limbs.
Ralph, go ahead.
I'm actually just the opposite of Brian. I was always originally against it, looking at the $37,000 outlay and stuff. But then I look back at being in the corporate world for almost 30 years, 28 and a half years before I retired from them. To my understanding, it had been a long time since the job descriptions have been pretty much laid out and everything gone over and stuff. And in order to properly protect the city, you need, or you should, you don't need to do anything, but you should periodically do outside sourcing and finding out what all the parameters are of communities within your spectrum as far as population and all the different categories of employees and everything. Because if you mess up and demand an employee to do one certain thing that technically isn't in his job performance, and then they go to sue the city, sure, we have insurance for that, but still you don't want the outlay of it. But then all of a sudden research goes in and they find out, well, in all these other communities in your size and range, they would never require that. And so then you have a discrimination thing and all sorts of stuff. And another thing we need to find out is how are we actually setting pay-wise? Because you've been around business for a long time. When you lose a good employee because they go somewhere else and can make more money, it costs a ton of money before that person gets properly trained in doing the job again. I mean, we figured that we lost money for a year and a half before we had our employees properly trained. And it turns around and costs you money. $37,000, yes, it does sound like a lot, but in the scheme of things of a $23 million budget, and it hasn't been done for a long time, I think we not only owe it to our employees, but we owe it to our citizens to make sure that we are doing the best possible job in protecting the city from future lawsuits. And I think this would help protect us on that aspect to a point. You're never going to totally protect the city.
Ralph, let me ask you a question.
But just looking at it from that viewpoint.
Let me ask you a question.
So I'm still in favor of doing it now.
Okay. Let me ask you a question about compensation. So let's say we did a compensation study.
Mm-hmm.
And the compensation study showed that they were overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Would we ask them for the money back?
No, you aren't going to ask them for the money back, but when it comes time for raises, that is where you can go.
Okay.
That is where you can go and say, well, wait a second here. Everybody else in your particular category are making $5,000 a year less.
And do you
there you have the negotiation factor on not giving as much of a raise as you normally would have.
Do you foresee the city if the city determined that if they did a compensation study and it was determined that the employees were underpaid, how many of the employees are going to stay here if they can go get more money someplace else?
That is a risk and a chance that you take.
I think the
To be fair, that's a risk we take right now anyway. If you look at police departments, further east you go on Highway 20, they make more. I mean, honestly, right, any position, you're at a risk right now to lose people because they can make more elsewhere.
In dealing with that, I had a conversation today with one of our businesses in town, and they are desperately in need of electricians, but they cannot justify paying the amount of money that electricians are requiring right now simply because in Cedar Rapids, with everything going on in Cedar Rapids, the minimum average electrician down there is making $50 an hour with double time on over 40 hours and everything. So it all is
I think we're talking apples to apples here.
There's two things. I thought originally when this topic first came up. Now I was not here last Monday, so I don't know what was discussed specifically then, but I thought that the original discussion was more of a compensation study.
It's both.
I know, it's both. It's classification study and compensation study. Because some of the council members were asking about this and had a concern about this, I made a phone call to Doug. And I said to Doug, is there anything in the Iowa law that requires us to have a compensation study every few years, or every 10 years, or every 20 years? And he said, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
And I said to Doug, okay, so you were a city administrator, manager, and then you were our city attorney, and what other cities do you know of that have done compensation and classification studies? And he said 0. He said, I've never heard of it until you guys brought it up.
Actually, I'm looking one that Dubuque just did in June of 2025.
Which one? The classification or the?
Iowa, both classification and compensation study.
But their size of their city is not even comparable.
So we got 55 employees, 55 job titles that we're talking about.
And all this $37,000 is evaluate whether they're being paid appropriately and to job description. And for the amount of money of $37,000 for City of Independence, I think we could better spend that money somewhere else. And I understand what you're saying about that the city could be sued if Jill or Jack was underpaid for the position, and they can say because department head was not compensating them correctly. But for $37,000, I think we can work with our local city manager or somebody you deem in control of this, if you want to designate it somebody else within the city, and have them evaluate it for $37,000 or less. Would we still be winning out?
I come back to my point of, I think it's better to have a third party come in, because otherwise you're going to have one department think they're underpaid and they deserve more and all that, where again, third party comes in, they look at everything, they look at job descriptions, they talk to the employees, get a better understanding of, okay, this is what your job description currently says. What do you actually do? Let's get it updated.
See, I'm not-
Third party is completely unbiased.
I don't have a
We're-
problem with updating the classifications and making sure that everything, that all the things are in order. I'm just not crazy about a compensation study, and my reasons are that, I was an owner in a firm with over 225 employees that I was responsible for, and we never had any compensation study because we didn't need one, because everybody knew what everybody else made at other firms and other law firms and et cetera.
Did you also have salary ranges at that firm?
Yeah, we did, but
We don't.
But we created them.
Right, we don't.
But do you really-
We're gonna ask them to do that for us, because like I said.
Why do we need them?
Do you really?
Okay,
do you really?
for example, when I had to hire my people, I had really no idea what to start them out at, so I looked at back what previously people made and adjusted to where I have people, and we've got other departments where they have experience. Well, what do I start them out at?
But do you really think?
So I come up with a number. I have somebody that thinks they probably should be making more, but I started them out at this.
So let's.
So if we now have salary ranges, we know if a person comes into this position, they have low experience, they're on this end of the range. If they've got higher experience, they're on this end. We've got a starting point for wages as opposed to just plucking a number out of the random.
But that's only this 1 year. You're paying $37,000 to find out what it is at this given date and time. And
But it
changes
gives
every
us
year.
a starting point of what we need to do, and we can keep using that information. They're gonna teach us how to do this. You guys really
But you say
want
you have
department
time to
heads?
do it now. So what
I
was the point of teaching you?
I
You don't have the time to get learned.
I make a motion, we table this until the next meeting, when Matt can be there.
Second.
Weber and O'Laughlin, do you, because you made the original motion and second, are you okay with tabling?
Yes.
Is the roll call vote on tabling?
Brad, question. So how do you think we should do the wages and stuff if the third party doesn't do it? Who should do it?
City manager can do it.
Well,
It's not that easy. No, you're not. I disagree with that.
Department heads, they know what a position should pay for.
I guess we're voting now to table this so
Table
that we
it. can
can have the full discussion with at the time that Matt can join us as well. So let's have a roll call vote on tabling it then.
Maynard,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Appleby,
Yeah.
Weber,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 7-0 then.
Will this be on the next agenda, or are we going to discuss in a lot of depth during a work session?
I think we're going to bring it on a work session, but
I think that would be the best route. Because this could drag on for an hour or so on this topic.
Okay, let's move then to item number 26. This is the Police Department monthly report. So it's not only the monthly report, but they also have their annual report in there as well. So does anybody have any questions for Chief Lau regarding the either the monthly report or the annual report with regard to the police department?
No.
I want to thank you for,
Susie, the $10,049 is on page 108, if you want to do that with the police department, but if you don't, that's fine.
Thank you, Deb.
I want to thank you for having the annual report, because I'm trying to pull it back up here, but it looked like it was like 4,000 some calls.
4,532 calls.
That's a lot of calls in 1 year for a town this size,
It is.
you know?
Yep.
And, you know, people come up and go, you know, what do our police department do other than just drive around all the time? Well, you had over 4,500 calls in 1 year. That's a lot.
And that number just keeps going up. Obviously, our city.
Unfortunately.
We keep, population goes up, we have new subdivisions, and every year our calls for service are going to increase.
So I just hope that word gets out to the general public on realizing how much you guys actually do and how much you have to respond to. So thank you for that.
So questions regarding the report for
No, sir.
him? Anything else that you want to?
No, nothing that I can think of, other than the fact that, like I said, that number for our monthly report and our annual report is generated based on the calls for service that go through to dispatch. If for some reason a dispatcher maybe puts a call in differently than what another dispatcher would, that call might not reflect accurately. Just for instance, on the monthly report, I know that I dealt with a truancy issue, and I see the report said 0, but I did deal with 1 for the month, but I think that calls for service had gotten put in as a welfare check. So just keep in mind, depending on how those calls get generated is how those numbers come before you.
But still, the true number of calls is
The true
there,
number
just
of
maybe
calls is-
categories
Over that 4,000.
incorrectly.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Moving then to item number 27, this is the fire department monthly report. Anybody have anything that they, this was just the monthly, there wasn't an annual yet. So with regard to the monthly, any questions that we had regarding that? Anything else?
No questions from me, Mayor.
Okay. Moving then to item number 28, which is the building code enforcement department. Everybody have a chance to look at that report as well? And I believe that was just monthly, right? I don't think that was an annual.
No, it was just monthly.
Any questions that you have for Matt regarding that? Okay, moving then to item number 29.
Matt.
Sorry.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Item number 29, the ILPT report, which was in there. Any questions regarding that we can take to them?
No.
Okay. Moving then to council member reports. Start with you.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Then let's go to Deb. Deb, do you have anything?
Nope, everybody stay healthy back there.
It's tough.
Try. I say that.
Ralph, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to put out a reminder to the citizens that on the 24th of this month, the Oakwood Cemetery Brigade is doing the chili cook-off, and that will be at River's Edge.
Tell me the date again, I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
The date again, I'm sorry.
The date is 24th of January.
Okay.
And as of today, we've already got, I wasn't given the exact, they thought it was either 10 or 11 people have signed up to compete in the chili cook-off. And we do have over 30 businesses, again, this year have donated stuff for a silent auction to help raise funds. And Lord helping, it'll be a lot warmer than it was last year. We have a bigger turnout. But last year when we were closing up and loading vehicles, the wind chill factor was 12 below, and that kept a lot of people away.
So this is a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
And what are the times on it again?
4:30 to 6 o'clock.
Saturday the what?
Pardon me?
What Saturday?
On the 24th.
24.
And this would be at River's Edge?
River's Edge.
Tell me, last year, did you do carry out or you did not?
We did carry out, but it was in a different fashion. We just used cups, but
Right.
we actually have bowls this year.
Okay.
And with lids and
So a
everything.
person could call, donate.
We do have carry out.
Okay.
And it's 100% donation. If you want to come in and eat chili, you don't have to pay anything. We had 14 contestants last year. We possibly could end up with that many this year. And one of our city employees, won't mention any names, but he ate one bowl of each chili. He ate
Mike.
14 bowls of chili that night.
Mike?
Wow.
It wasn't Mike.
It wasn't Mike?
It was not Mike. But 14 bowls of chili, that boy's got a good stomach. So that's it, Mayor.
Brian?
I brought up everything that I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Matt?
I have nothing.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna sign off. I'm an hour overdue for my paint bill, so if I
Okay.
Wah, wah.
I wanted to hear you after you were all looped up on your medication.
Is he going to be here in 2 weeks?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Feel better.
Yep, thank you.
I have nothing.
Do you want to do?
I don't. So we'll just give them.
Okay, and do you have anything? No. Any other department heads? I think they all said it, their piece. Just a couple things. January 9th, I attended the Emergency Management 911 Executive Committee meeting. They had a couple of, it was mostly spent doing budget like everybody else's stuff doing, but they did have two grants, the Health Trust and the Emergency Management Professional Grant. So one was for $7,000 and one was for $23,000. So they're trying to use some of that to organize some of the equipment and some of the other things. The Dwayne Arnold Energy Center, they're in the process of some of the training and things that involve our police department and our fire department. As a result of that, they're looking to do either a memorandum of understanding or a 2080 agreement with the city, so we have our compensation. So when our people are used, we get hour for hour compensation back. And that's all I have.
I was going to ask you. Oh, man, I lost it that quick. Oh, no. I was just going to say, I saw, was it the county that put out the ambulance director
Yes.
position? Opened that up? That's great.
The ambulance
Glad to see
director
that.
position is open. For those that are out there that are interested, the supervisors decided not to take a pay increase, and all of us agreed to not take one as well. So I'm going to continue with my $8,000 a year salary, and the other people can continue with their $50 a meeting.
And spend $250 a month in gas driving around.
I need a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
All in favor?
Wait, okay.
You get the second?
Not really.
Bye, Deb.
Who was the second on that?
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
Say goodnight, Deb.